You sing back here. That way you don't walk in front of the whole audience. Shut off the music, Dylan. All right, we're going to get started here. All right. Okay, here we are. This is our Friday get-together. It looks like we got about 35 people here. This is a good gathering. I'm going to introduce Todd. I don't know Todd Richards very well, but we had a phone conversation, talked a couple times. What we're doing here at the station, we're very freedom-minded here. We want people to be able to do what they want to do, not what somebody else tells them to do. And when we heard about Weld County, Wyoming, we wanted to get involved with that. So I was able to get a hold of Todd Richards. I'm sure there's a lot more people than just Todd that's involved in getting this off the ground. I don't know a whole lot of the details. I didn't talk to Todd too much about everything that goes on with this thing. But in one conversation we had, it was pretty obvious he's like a lot of the people that are here tonight. We have a very like-minded nature with what we want from this state or Wyoming. So Todd, I want you to come on in, introduce yourself. But thank you for coming. I'm so glad you're here. You guys give you a round of applause. Yeah, go ahead, take it.
All right. Like you said, my name is Todd Richards. A little bit about myself. I'm a little over 21 years retired Air Force. I got to pick wherever I wanted to live when I retired. So I ended up in Eaton. Don't know why, but that's where I ended up at. Lived there for a while. It's been 12 years now. Got on the board of directors for the Eaton Area Park and Recreation District. So I built a big, giant recreation facility up there. So always kind of been involved. And that was one of the things when you get out of the military, you're in a family and you don't really fit in anywhere. So you got to make yourself fit in. So that's kind of what I did is I started with the town and did those things. And then John Caldera really nicely put an op-ed in the Denver Post about Prop 181. And he said that he would not be surprised that Weld County would either try the 51st state again or we would secede to Wyoming. And I thought that was ridiculous. Put a Facebook page out, thought, if somebody else thinks it's funny, we're going to see what happens. And I did that in April 2019, kind of cruised along a little bit. About 160 people liked it. Somewhere along the line, I don't know exactly when it was, but it was almost a year. I hit the right 10 people liked it. And we went from 160 overnight to about 2,600. And that's a big jump. And then started doing some stuff, and of course the governor started putting his things out there. I guess that is Scott James put out on one of his things, the Denver Boulder Axis kind of started putting their stuff out there, and all of a sudden we went from 2,600 to I think we're at 6,000 right now. So it's picking up steam. There's a lot of folks in Wyoming. I've done a lot of radio programs up in Wyoming. Some are for it, some are against it. So one of the big things that we're trying to do is just education. Why do we want to do this? And most people that I talk to understand why we want to do this. Some of the big things right off the bat, people are like, well, we don't have a state income tax. And that's like, well, yeah, we don't. So automatically that's a pay raise. So right off the bat, we move, you get a pay raise. So there's a lot of little things. Like-minded people in Wyoming, same with Weld County. Just a lot of things kind of match up with Weld County and Wyoming. So where we are today is a little bit of a problem. We decided that we were going to petition the Weld County Commissioners, get about 100,000 signatures. And I got a call from the clerk and recorder's office, and she told me that I needed to meet in her office at this date and time, and the county attorney will be there. And that was a little unnerving. I didn't get told why. I just got told this is where you need to be. And if you need people to bring along with you, you can bring them along with you. So we showed up, and they said what we wanted to do, petition the county commissioners. We can't do that because we are a home ruled county, and that we can't do that. So we have to go the other way. We have to go the harder way. So we have to change Article 1 of the Colorado Constitution, which lays out the borders of Colorado. And so that'll be a statewide vote. And so I have to do it the hard way. So it'll go statewide. And after that vote goes yes, then it has to go to the Colorado State House, and they have to say yes. And then we're not sure yet, but then it has to go to Wyoming. We're not sure if it has to go to a statewide vote there. We're just going to assume the worst and go a statewide vote. So we have to go up there, and they're the ones that we have to convince that Weld County needs to move to Wyoming. The people in Cheyenne are for it, and I'm probably the most hated person in Casper right now. So it is what it is. A lot of people further north think that everybody in Colorado is a bunch of pot smoking hippies. And that's, unfortunately, that's the way they think it is. And we try to tell, I get on Facebook, I get on the radio programs, and I tell people that Weld County is the only county in Colorado that's not in the red. We paid for our own highway. When the floods happened in 2013, we paid for everything. All it's done. There's still stuff in Larimer County, and granted it's in the mountains, but they still have stuff that hasn't been finished yet. And we're done. We were done about 2 years afterwards. So we have the rainy day fund where budget's in the black, and we're good. So we don't have this, I get this, well, you're a large homeless population. No. Well, you have a lot of people on welfare. No. Well, you just want to move to Wyoming so you can drain our funds to pick up your county. And I'm like, no, it'd probably be the other way around. Wyoming would probably go after the county's funds to help them out of their problems. So there's that possibility of that. So we believe that we'd have to convince the whole state of Wyoming that Weld County needs to move. There's some problems with that have been brought to our attention many times. Greeley would be the largest county or the largest city in Wyoming. Weld County would be the largest populated county in Wyoming. And Denver and Boulder are the largest counties in Denver, and they're doing to us what people are afraid we're going to do to them. So that's the legitimate fear on their side. So you flip Greeley, and you flip the whole state of Wyoming. So yeah, there's what's that? The Pause Act. I think it's Amendment 16. It probably not going to pass, but you look at it, and they're going to keep doing this, and they're going to keep doing this, and they're going to keep doing this, and they're going to keep doing this. They're going to start putting out these weird amendments and these weird bills to really put the squash on what goes on in rural Colorado and Weld County. Weld County is a big thorn in the side up at the State House. Out at the Meat Inn up in Eaton, met several of the state senators up there. They're all for it. They kept telling me if they need anything, just give them a call. Met Senator Cook, and he was so excited. He's like, wait, pulled out his cell phone, went to a picture, and he has a big Wyoming flag on his office door. So, and he's already gone to the president of UNC and asked how does he like the name of the University of Southern Wyoming, Greeley. So I don't think that probably went over very well, but it is what it is. I get a lot of weird stuff. I finally got my first real hate mail a few weeks back, which was great. but I get people in like Cheyenne. Some lady said, I don't want Greeley any closer than it already is. We're not going to pick up Greeley and move it anywhere closer. And then lady in Greeley said that she didn't want the winds of Wyoming. It's like, well, you already got the winds of Wyoming. And that's just the education part. You know, people they just hear this and go, well, this is nuts. Why would we do this? And all we're doing is we're moving an imaginary line on a map. We're just going to encompass Weld County, and all we're doing. 99% of the people are going to see their driver's license change, their license plates on their car are going to change, and instead of Colorado, it's going to be a WY at the end of their address. And that's what most of the people are going to see. So, and no taxes. Well, the taxes in Wyoming are just a smidge more than they are in Colorado. So they're going to get that state tax out of you somehow. One way or the other, they're going to get it out of you. But yeah, the license plate fee, they're just a little more. Not a lot more, just a little more. And so that's where that money's going to come from. So they're going to get it out of us sooner or later. But you get that money up front instead of paying it and then having to pay taxes on top of that anyway. So it is still just, yeah, it's a pay raise. People are kind of excited about that. So. Yes. Oh yeah. It's so there was a lot of stuff that we're trying to figure out. Water has always been the biggest issue. If water doesn't follow us, it's going to be a big fat no all the way across the board. So I've talked to a lot of ranchers and a lot of people, and they've told me that water stays with the land. So it doesn't matter if we become Weld County, Alaska, the water stays with the land because it's the first owner, the first right is where that water stays. I got a no back there. So, and that's
water rights, you own the water rights, you can sell them at this point in time, you can sell them to anybody you want. The different water districts may have a few different rules regarding that, but the city of Thornton in the 1980s
oh yeah.
bought lots of farm ground up around all, and they have now taken that water and moved it to Thornton.
Yeah.
So, water does not necessarily follow the road.
Yep.
You'd be well advised to get a hold of Corey Lewis. She is an expert in water in Colorado and Wyoming. She's practiced in Wyoming. She currently is the city of Larimer attorney concerning their water issues. She's also representing the Wheatland Irrigation District, 800 farmers and ranchers for Wheatland. Actively involved there. She knows water inside and out. She's ranch raised in Colorado. Her offices are over in Ventura.
Okay.
She lives here in Johnstown. If you're interested, I can get you.
Yeah, because I mean that's our biggest number one hurdle is water.
And
So
I had Big T water there in the Weld County reservoir.
yeah.
I sold it stupidly before it went up to 30,000.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, the water's our biggest. That'll be our biggest. Our biggest concern is if we have to hire a water lawyer, that's going to be our biggest expense right off the bat. So we're looking at those things is water. Water seems to be haunting us quite a bit. We get this, people say this, ranchers over here say that, ranchers over there say this, farmers say this, and we don't really have a good. And we know we're going to end up having to get a lawyer in on this, and that's going to be a huge expense. Well, then there was this issue that we came up with is if we have to vote to change the borders, why don't we change the borders? And then it becomes, is Weld County going to be easier to move than, say, 50 counties? all of a sudden we get 50 counties that want to move to, some want to move out on the western slope. They want to move to Utah, and all these counties on the northeast want to move to Wyoming, and we get the whole eastern half of Colorado wants to go to Wyoming, and some down across the bottom. Do people really start to look at that and go, well, we don't want just to be this, it just be Denver and Adams and Arapahoe and Jefferson and Park and Boulder and Larimer. We could get all the rest of the state could leave, and that'd be a hard sell. So we've just told people that let's get Weld County through the gate first. Let's get ourselves the one that get bloodied up. Have to figure out what's going on. Have to pay the price. We'll get all the paperwork done, and then if Morgan County and Logan County want to go, we've had a lot of people from those counties saying, please take us. And Sedgwick and Phillips and Cheyenne and Yuma, and you go right down the eastern border, and they just all want to go too. So yes, they could. Because it has to go. Yep. So yeah, it would go through so if we get a vote yes, Colorado says yes, Wyoming says yes, the U.S. Congress, the House, can say no. Right. Yeah, there was a county in Oregon, and I don't remember what year it was, but it was in the 1900s that went from Washington to Oregon, and it was pretty seamless. The people wanted to move, both states agreed, and when both states agreed, everybody else said okay. If that's the way it is, then that makes sense. So. Yeah, we've had I was on a podcast in New Hampshire. It's weird. I get these phone calls. Hey, can you come on our podcast? Sure. Where are you out of? New Hampshire. It's like, okay. So I went on this podcast, and there was a couple lawyers on there, and they said if it goes, we get turned down wherever along the line, we take them to court because they're not representing us. And he said that's written right in the Constitution. They're not representing the county, the people in the county of Wyoming, and I get all these things mixed up in Colorado, and take them to court. You want to leave, and since they're not representing us, we know the people in Wyoming would. We take them to court. It go to the Ninth Circuit Court in San Francisco. It gets shot down. We take them to the Supreme Court. And people have said many times, they told me that probably right now it probably pass with ease, but if the Democrats get their way and start piling in judges, then we might not get that opportunity. So.
What about California? I mean, are you able to use some of their strategies?
Yep.
Legal maneuvering?
Yep. So there's several counties in Oregon, a couple of counties in Washington State, and almost the whole northern half of California that are going to join Idaho. I've already talked to the guy up there, and they're doing what we wanted to do to begin with, is petition the county commissioners, put a vote out, vote for the county, and do it that way. And they've had 4 counties do the vote, 2 turned it down, and 2 passed it. So we're just we wanted to follow them, but since we're a home rule county, we can't petition the county commissioners to put it on the ballot. We can put it on the ballot, but it'll cost us a very large sum of money to do it.
Well, are they willing to help you do this? Because they probably have some strong lawyers, that help them.
I've talked to him, and he there's 3 guys that are kind of running that circus up there, and they said, call us if you have a problem, let us know what you're doing. Well, they're about a year or so ahead of us. Half of their state off. They're about the same distance as we are. And there is, trying to see the map. Minnesota wants to about cut their whole state in half and move to South Dakota. So we're not the only ones we're just one county. There are several places that are doing literally almost half the state that are gonna move into a different state. So we're just one county. But right. Yep. Yeah. The one that most people go after me as well, you can't form a new state. I was like, we're not forming a new state. We're just moving. So it just states in there, we have to get consent of both legislatures and then we can move. So it's just written in the Colorado Constitution that if we want to change the borders of Colorado, when Broomfield became their own county, we had to vote on it as a state to let them do that. So we will have to vote as a state to let us move, to change the borders, to move to. Well, every time the Democrats open their mouth, we throw stuff at them. And we've had I found out I have a lot of good people down at the State House that walk around and are kind of being a thorn in people's sides down there right now. So it's working. It's quietly, but it's working. So.
How do you think the oil and gas issues will play into that, either for or against it?
Oh yeah, we have. There's a gentleman that.
I would think resistance would be on the part of the southern.
Well, yeah, because would be the great thing to do is just go put a giant well right on the Boulder County and Weld County line, and there's nothing they could do about it. Well, there's nothing they could do about it now, but once it becomes a state, you put it on the Wyoming and the Boulder County line, and there'd be nothing they could do about it. But we do have this huge support from oil and gas. As a matter of fact, one gentleman that's helping out, that's all he is oil and gas, and he goes and talks to a lot of the oil and gas people, and they're wanting to help, and they're wanting to throw money at us and all this other stuff. And it's like, we need to figure out, because we've had to change, we need to figure out how we have to make this big change. Do we just want to do just Weld County? Do we want to drag every other county along with us? And at one point we said, do we just want to vote Denver and Boulder off the island like Survivor and kick them out? But that's making a new state, and there would be a problem with that. So. Yep.
A really good guy who did contact would be Rick. Chief like that. Rick, he's only anyway, he's good. Rick Montero, he's a huge cattle feeder. He had very good connections with the Monfort family, with Mary Kay Monfort. Not now, but tremendously good person, well connected, very strong supporter of Weld County.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know Rick.
No. Yep. I just, if you had some ideas or you just want to throw some things out there, we're on Facebook, Weld County, WY. We have our drew a blank there. Well, WY.com. Yep. Same thing. Our email is same thing, Weld County WY at Yahoo and at Gmail. We kind of respond, I kind of respond a little bit quicker to the Gmail because it pops up on my phone a little faster. My phone goes off pretty much 24/7, either from Facebook questions, emails, telling me that I'm an idiot, telling us that us are idiots and we need to get out of Colorado. And then there's people say, no way, we're not going to let you go. We're going to make you suffer. It's like, whatever. Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah. And I've told them, I said, so I can count on your vote when it comes up as a yes to leave. So I just, it's nonstop for me. It's been like that for, well, since I would say right before COVID. So about February is when it just went crazy. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to get a special election. I was told by the attorney and the county clerk and recorder, it would go on an off year. So it would either be 2022 or 2024. I don't think we could be ready by 2022 because we have to go out to, and we're not sure if it's every voting district that we have to get the signatures from, or it's every county that we have to get, because we're going to change the county or we're going to change the state. So we have to get all these signatures either by county or by voting district. So that's one question that Senator Cook asked me. He's like, so do you know how this goes? And I looked at him and said, no. He's like, good, because nobody down at the State House knows how this goes either, because nobody's ever done it. So we're kind of learning on the way, and people are asking questions, and sometimes that's not the right question because we get the wrong answer. So we have to change the question to get the answer that we want. So well, probably. And I tell people, and I know nobody wants to hear this, Governor Polis is going to get reelected, probably easily going to get reelected. And well, yeah. Yep. So, that I guess you'd be I'm just the one that out of all of us that is just the counter. This is going to go bad, and we need to make sure that we get all the T's crossed, the I's dotted, and everything spelt right. And if they need 40 pieces of paper, we're going to have 41. We're going to have overkill everything that we can all the time. And so, yeah, it just goes and goes and goes. Every day I get to talk to somebody and they're like, have you done this? No, we didn't know we had to do that. So now we add another layer to this monster that we have to do. And probably the biggest thing that we need from folks like you is, if you're on Facebook, support us there. Go on the webpage, sign up for the newsletter, support us there. We're going to look at possibly doing some letters from business owners, from towns that support the idea of Weld County leaving Colorado, so that the people down at the State House can go, you know what, here you guys are putting up this absolutely ridiculous amendment, or whatever they're going to do, and say, here's all these people in Weld County that do not support what you're planning. And of course, we know what the answer is going to be. They don't care, and they're going to do it anyway. So, but it's just that fact of, here's all these people saying, we don't like what you're doing, we want to leave. And so the more support we get, the more people that you tell, and we're gonna figure it out. Well, just things have changed, unfortunately. Probably not. And that was one of the questions that I asked a while ago. When they gerrymander and re-rig everything, is that gonna affect us? And it won't affect us because it's a statewide vote. So if it just became and it wouldn't even affect us if it became a county vote. So it would just be Weld County alone. So we're still gonna. I had a whole bunch of petitions printed out, so I have probably 200,000 signature blocks sitting in my house in the basement, ready to go. If we wanted to do that, we can just print up something that says, you support the move from Colorado to Wyoming, have all those things signed, give it to the commissioners. They can give it to the people down at the State House and say, you know what, these people want out of here, and go from there. So go.
It appears to me that either path to merging with Wyoming or the path to split Colorado is a very, very steep path.
It's
I would like
backwards.
what the rationale is for leaving to get
Well, I think the state house is going to be, we have to, I mean, Weld County was the first one. Polis put out his meet out day, and Weld County was literally the first county just days later did a meet in day. And every time that he does something, they're down, the county commissioners are complaining and raising hell down there saying, you know what, this doesn't support Weld County. And we're, you know, they're trying to be a thorn in everything that they do down there. So I think that it's going to get to the point where they're just going to be tired of us. Everything that we do, everything that they do, we either, you know, they're ending up in court for it, or they're, you know, getting it drug out. They're making them read the bill, which now they can't read the bills over the computer, you know, at times 400 speed. It has to be written by or read by a person. So, and that was coming out of course, the Republican side of it, but we have people that aren't even associated with Weld County that are very excited about it. Ended up talking to, I think his name's Dan Wong. He's not even our I think he's a representative. He's not even our representative, and he's absolutely excited about the whole idea. Sure.
So I got an email today from, I think it's Boulder, right? Complaining about Pastor Paul and Terry B, the open forum, saying, you guys, you know, I like liberal, why don't you guys go to Wyoming? I don't think in a statewide vote, we may get a lot of liberal votes to get rid of us. So I don't think this is as far-fetched an idea as it seems. Obviously, I think the Congress might be the biggest thing, because you're gonna take some delegates away from Colorado and turn it into a red state delegate. I think that's a big problem. But I think in Colorado, Wyoming, I think it's very possible.
Yeah. And that's why we want to keep it right now to Wyoming, because in the grand scheme of things in Colorado, 320,000 people leaving Colorado, not a lot of people. But 320,000 people joining Wyoming, that's almost half. We're going to be half the population. So that would be a big jump for representation in Wyoming. So Casper gives me a hard time. People from symbiotic. I think it is. It's the marijuana. That's the only thing that I get. It's marijuana. Period. End of story. People do not want us in Wyoming because Weld County is a marijuana county. I guess, I don't know, but that's the biggest push is I mean, they didn't even get the bill in the state house this last go around. They just let it sit there for Wyoming to approve recreation, or I think it was medical marijuana, and they just let it sit there and it passed by. But South Dakota and Colorado and Nebraska, I think, went, and I'm thinking Montana might have voted on that too. So they're going to get surrounded, and people are just going to come over and spend their money in these states. And Wyoming's going to lose out on the tax money. Oh yeah, then there's nothing. I think it'll probably be legalized nationally before Wyoming will legalize it. So it's there's just little idiosyncrasies that I deal with, and a lot of as you start to get about 100 miles north of the Cheyenne area, and they don't want to have anything to do with us, and they don't understand. And you know, I'm on the radio. I was just on the radio station up in Gillette trying to say the same thing. Weld County is in the black. We have, you know, we're number 5 ag producing county in the country. You know, why would somebody not want 2 point whatever it is $billion flooded into their state economy? So it's just comes down to education and being able to go and to drive to events like this all over. Unfortunately, it's going to be all over both states, and it's going to have to be support. There's going to be some money. There's going to have to be some lawyers, and it's going to take time. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. A lot of people live in Cheyenne and work down in Yeah, I know a bunch of people that live in Cheyenne and work in the Denver Tech Center. It's a long ways to drive, but they work down there. So
It's like that old song by Warren Zevon. Then lawyers got some money.
yep.
I have a friend that manages the Lady Beef Raising Association. It's on the Colorado-Wyoming border, on the east side of 85.
Okay.
And there is a retired federal law enforcement officer that is familiar with my friend that manages that. And he said, I-25, I-80, 85, you won't believe the amount of drugs and stuff.
Oh yeah. It just,
Already going through Cheyenne.
Yeah.
Weld County's marijuana is a minor thing compared to what's already there.
so I guess
So, just to start this off, I'm gonna say I am for this idea. But I have family in eastern Washington State, they're sick of West Coast. Okay.
oh yeah.
You were talking about the other states, Minnesota, Illinois. I know Oregon, eastern Oregon, western Oregon.
Yep.
They're all, so they kind of play the devil's advocate there. Are we just running from our problems? Because I can promise you that these people, it don't matter where you're at, they're gonna keep coming after agriculture.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna keep coming after oil.
Yeah. If we moved, and some people are like, you know what, they don't uphold the Constitution, so let's just hold the armed insurrection and move to Wyoming and forget it. But they're going to come after us if we move to Wyoming. They know that all they have to do is flip Greeley, and once they flip Greeley, that whole state becomes red. So there's other problems that we have in the state. We have a GOP that is fighting itself constantly in the state, in the county, and that needs to stop. Really, it just needs to stop. So, yep. Yep. Yeah. But you, yep. So we were just the small little group that was going to put a petition forward, and we've only collected like $2,000, and it's up on the state Secretary of State's webpage. But now it's going to have to change. We're going to have to be, I believe it's a C4 for a political organization. So we're going to have to change that. We're going to have to we're going to have to hire some people. We have to hire a treasurer, because I've already had people wanting to throw $500,000 at this. And when people start, I start getting oil and gas and ag with stuff that is starting to happen, and it's going to continue to happen. If it doesn't pass, they're going to do it again. And like you said, they're going to come after us. They're going to come after us, and they're going to come after us. So we have to be able to fight those things, and it's just not going to stop. We might be, like you said, are we running away from the problem? Yeah, we are. But when you get like-minded people together, hopefully they can group together and fight the fight that needs to be done. Well, and this is where the issue comes in. Denver County has more people in it than the rest of the state. So all they got to do is Denver County just votes that way. And of course, then you're going to drag Boulder County, and you're going to drag it part of Larimer County and Adams, and probably not so much Douglas, but Arapahoe and Jefferson and Park. And you get 6 counties that are going to rule the roost of the rest of the state. So it really doesn't, we're going to lose the fight every time. It's a numbers game. Yeah. Yep.
Is there a point when enough people say no to paying taxes? What I did over in Larimer County was called the state. I crossed out Cooter School District on my property tax and subtracted that from the treasurer says, you can't take this up with us, you gotta take it up with the school board. Well, I've written the school board letter, got a couple letters back, and, so I think if enough people were to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But see, that's the problem. We're already socialist because when we're afraid of our government, we have socialism.
Oh, I don't see a mask on in here. So,
Well, we're a minority.
oh, yes, I know.
What people don't understand is this is Agenda 21. UN Agenda 21. This has been going on since early 90s, even more. And until we stop that and we get people educated on Agenda 21, they're already working on Agenda 22. Do you know in their minds that even meat, single-family homes, ski resorts, golf clubs, vehicles, all of those are unsustainable. And that's exact, and heating with oil and gas. Those are all unsustainable. And why do you think they are attacking all these industries? Because they're just marking off in their little Agenda 21.
I think you push back in every way possible, and this is one of the ways.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, if you go national with all these problems, I think you're missing the point of what he's doing here. You make Weld County very strong, conservative, there's a concern that it's gonna go blue county. That's what Wyoming doesn't like. So if we make Weld County strong against this, we go to a county that's friendly to what we like, then we've already put ourselves in a better position.
Right.
against all the national stuff we don't like.
But that's not, it's not national, it's in every single community.
I understand that.
Yep.
Weld County can change what they do. They can, we can join what Wyoming does.
Yes, sir. Well, I know that we are, well, just because we're already a Second Amendment sanctuary county. I believe there's not a city in here that is an immigration sanctuary city. So we're kind of, I don't know. I know the governor, or the mayor, so I'll go talk to him. So as a matter of fact, I know everybody on the board too, so I'll go talk to them. So and see what. Yep. Yep. Yeah.
I was gonna ask the same thing, because I heard, something this morning, Georgia.
Yes.
Making themselves for the Bill of Rights, Constitution, and there's a lot of counties, red states that are doing this right now. So I think that's a big thing that this county could do, to be different and to have more power, is to become sanctuary to the Bill of Rights and sanctuary, not just to the Second Amendment, to the Bill of Rights and to the whole Constitution.
Right.
I don't know what that is, but they're doing it, and a lot of the other areas are doing it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's something that I could talk to the county commissioners. I don't want to, step on it. Yeah. Yeah. That's another thing on my plate right now. And I'll just pass it on to somebody, I'll go talk to the commissioners and say, hey, can we do this? And let them handle that. And because my push is to get Weld County to Wyoming. And if another state wants to go with us, then somebody else is going to have to do in their county. I'm not going to do their county. And they'll have to gin up the same thing that we're doing, and they'll have to move to Wyoming. So, and if it starts to snowball, then we can go ahead and help all these other counties. Oh yeah, there's a lot of things that we can do right off the bat that would be really, really easy to do, to be a thorn in the side of the state house. Yep. And yeah, well, if you go down, you look at who's in charge of the Senate, somebody from Boulder, somebody who's in charge of the House is from Boulder, the governor's from Boulder, this Secretary of State is from Boulder. So you start looking at all these people that hold all these positions, they're from Boulder and they're from Denver. So there is, like I said, there's a Denver-Boulder axis that is trying to push towards, and I lived in California for 6 years and I was stationed there. So I don't want to be part of California. If I wanted to be part of California, my mom lives in California and hopefully she's not watching. She's a Democrat and doesn't like me posting things on Facebook. I get it all the time. Don't post these things on Facebook. Well, if she knew what I was doing now, she'd be furious. She'd probably fly out here and beat my ass. So, so those are the kind of things. And I get a lot of support. People are like, what do I need to do? How can I help you? And that's, I'm sure everybody here, what can I do? Just be that backing support. Because when we get to the point where we're ready to go, because we know we're gonna have to make some bylaws, we're gonna have to put the 501c4 into place. We're gonna have to put a board, and then we're gonna go. And when we're gonna go, and it's just gonna be Weld County for now. And if some weird thing happens along the way, and it makes sense to take 10 or 15 counties with us along the eastern slope or on the eastern border, and some of those northern counties that are big coal mine counties, and they want to go with us, then we would drag them along. I already talked to Chuck. Yep. So, yep. Yep. Matter of fact, I've talked to Lori several times. I had a state senator call my house. She's like, I'm so-and-so. And you're just like, where are you calling me? So, no, I've talked to Barbara Kirkmeyer several times when she was a commissioner. So probably be pretty easy to go talk to her with that. Of course, now John Cook, he's like, you need anything, let me know. He's poking fun at everybody down there. And talked with Jerry Sonnenberg. He did the radio show, I believe it was here. I did the radio show one day and he did it the next day, or it was vice versa. I don't remember what. And so we got to talking a little bit, and what you guys are doing is great. So, keep up the hard work and keep pushing forward. I talked with John Caldera, finally ended up talking to him and told him this is his fault. He said, we need to just throw bricks every single day. Every time the governor opens his mouth, I put on something. It is time for Weld County to leave Colorado and move to Wyoming. Information at Weld County, Wyoming. And it's starting to get 50-50 now, but there for a long time, it was 90% of the people were like, you are stupid. This is never going to happen. And Wayne Gretzky, I'm a hockey guy, he said that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We will always be no until we ask. So we're going to have to ask. And it might be no, but it might be yes. Or it might be, you know what, if you did this, if we change the borders of Weld County, because I'm sure that maybe Longmont, Erie want to be in one county or the other county. So there could be some of those things where there might be some negotiations to move that border a little bit along the edges there. So that could be, we've thought of all kinds of things. So
Online newspaper called Complete Colorado.
oh yes.
Some people may know that.
Yep.
Complete Colorado.
Yes, good. It's a good source to get on there. Sherry, Complete Sherry, or Keep It Simple Sherry. She writes for those guys for Complete Colorado. I could call her up at any time and get that information. I know I can call this guy anytime now and get probably on the radio like that. And there's Wyoming. The guys up there said, you have something going on. you call us and we'll get you on. The radio station in Greeley's the same way. You call us, you're on. So it's moving. Unfortunately, like I said, we have to change, and that change has caused us some problems. Where we start asking questions, what do we need to do? And a lot of the times are, well, we don't know because nobody's done this. So go with the natural progression of if we were to just ask for whatever to put on the ballot. So we're going to do these steps on the way, and then we can go ahead and we can start taking money in to hire a lawyer. I'm sure a water lawyer is going to be ridiculously expensive. And then we can start printing out educational flyers and going to county fairs and